So good morning, my artsy thrifty friends. My name is Ken Johnson. I am your thrifty apprentice, and I hope you guys have had a wonderful weekend leading up to this morning's live. I got my coffee here. I am all ready to go. Good morning, Ruby. So good to see you. So, friends, we've got a pretty quick live today. We are gonna go over a couple of things. We will be doing some creation. Don't worry, because we have an art advent journal that we opened and took supplies out of, and we have not painted with it really other than one painting. So we're definitely going to be visiting that today. Now, here, as the live started, I did go ahead and lay out some of the compositions that we have covered throughout the month of the end of November leading up until this particular live on our Christmas card fronts. Now, I'm nowhere near done. We're still gonna have plenty, and I do mean plenty of Christmas stuff coming. You guys know this is my favorite season, and I really am going to take advantage this year, in contrast to the last 2 years, to really get some Christmas paintings done and get some cards designed that I can use throughout this season and the next upcoming coming years if I choose to. All of these you can find either as pre-recorded videos or as a part of a live that we have done over the last month and a half or so. So you do have access to all of these if you would like to go back and see how this was done or decide to paint along with any of them. Now, some of them were done in lives, so you may have to look at one or two lives, but definitely that is out there for you if you choose. So today, we are taking a look at reviewing, and I am giving you my thoughts on the Sunny 12 Classic Color Water Soluble Pastels that I picked up during the last Temu art haul. So this video is technically a part of the Temu art series. So we're going to jump into this little quick unboxing and all those good things, and we're just going to flow through this. So hang on to your horses. We're going to move pretty quickly because I do want to get to some painting today. Here we have the Sunny Classic 12 Color Water Soluble Crayon or Water Soluble Pastel. Now this is a product that I picked up on Temu and have been testing over the last couple of weeks, although I've used them in combination with other products. I've only done maybe 2 standalone paintings with these. Maybe 3. I can't really find the third one at the moment, but that's fine. I've definitely done enough testing to know how I feel about them. So the front of the box shows you a depiction of the crayons, and if you pay attention to it, it does sort of resemble the Caran d'Ache branding. Different color scheme, different pictures, but the overall feel, I feel like they knew exactly who to piggyback off to get you interested in the product. Now, the information on the front is mostly in Chinese. It does give you a set number. It lets you know that they're water soluble. Of course, there's a beautiful image which is digitally imposed. Definitely not anything that I think was honestly painted with the water soluble pastels, if I'm going to be honest. But this definitely what's on the front. If you flip the tin over on the back, again, you're going to get a lot of Chinese characters. Was there the only English is right here at the top. It says water soluble wax pastels suitable for numerous artistic techniques on a wide range of materials. So if you're used to water soluble pastels or crayons, you should know that they are super versatile as far as the type of substrate you use them on. You can use them on some of the craziest type papers, cardboard, cardstock, Bristol board, even those papers that you have which may be losing their sizing and you're not sure what else to do with them, then a water soluble pastel or crayon is a great way to go. That way you can use that paper without having to dispose of it, which none of us want to have to waste the products that we have. If we spend our money on it, we definitely want to be able to use it. Now, it lets you know that the distributor is a Shanghai Uyan company, and the address, which is in China, the telephone number, it lets you know it conforms to the EN 71-3 regulation, which, note, I noticed there's no ASTMD testing on this, which lets me know that it has gone through testing for the European market, but this definitely has not gone through testing for the American market, which is something interesting to note. Not to say that that's uncommon, because a lot of products that are typically only available in the Asian market and are not sold on a wide, distribution range here in the United States or in the Americas, really doesn't have any reason to go through the ASTMD. And typically, you have to order products like that from sites like, say, AliExpress or Temu or any of the Asian-based sites. Not something that you can typically find in America bigbox.com companies, say Amazon or, I don't know, Michaels or Joann's or any of those companies or distributors that are here in the United States. Just a little FYI. Now, this is the storage life is 5 years. This is something that I noticed with the Hemi watercolors. This is something that I've noticed with a lot of Asian manufacturers. Products that typically are only sold in the Asian market come or have seemingly been coming with, let me put it that way, and in my experience, a storage life on it. This one says 5 years, like the Hemi paints we reviewed not too long ago, or compared to the Vibranium art paints, should I say, not too long ago, that had a shelf life of 3 years. Something else you do not normally see on products produced or manufactured in the Americas, or from companies that operate in the Americas, that may have their product outsourced and produced across seas, especially in the Asian market. So I just always think it's very interesting. And then it actually has something that says date of manufacture, which is blank. So I'm not quite sure why that information is there. Not for kids under 3. And then there are 2 QR codes here, which I'll be very honest, I did not really source them. I do know the Sunny one I've done before, and it basically takes you to their website. My original impression of this company was that they were a Chinese private brand company that was having their products white labeled through another factory, which couldn't be the case, because I know even companies like Paul Rubens has had some of their own products outsourced from another factory, although they have their own factory and produce in-house. So, I'm not sure what criteria with these major companies lead them to outsource. But what I did find out is that Sunny is an entire engulfed company of its own. It sells a multitude of art products. It just only operates in the Asian market. It has everything from paints to pencils to acrylics to oils. I did not, ironically enough, find anything in their water soluble section other than crayons and pencils. So if they have a paint, it's definitely something that's white label, and it wasn't something that I've been able to source up to this point. When you pop the tin open, and of course I've been using them, so disregard the fact that the palette hasn't been cleaned, but it is a flimsy little, like, super plasticky tray on the inside that you can use as a little palette. Now the thing is, water soluble crayons will scribble out on plastic, glass, acrylic, ceramic, really easily. So it didn't have to be anything too robust, and considering the fact that the entire set cost about $6, it's not surprising that there's no, like, substantial mixing palette in it. The inside of the lid does say water soluble pastels, basically mimicking what you see on the front. And the crayons themselves are inserted into a plastic molded tray. It will come out. Okay, I'm not gonna force it out right now, but it will come out, and you can use the tray, the tin itself, for storage, because it's not a bad tin, and the truth of the matter is it latches pretty well. It's made of a rather thin metal, but again, we're talking about a $6 package, and for everything that you're getting here, even if you decide to just use a tin, I think it's pretty stable, right? So normal size, average looking water soluble pastel. They do immediately put you in the mind of a Caran d'Ache Neo Color 2 with a different wrapper on it. Basically, that's basically what it is. It has an sharpener on the inside, which allows you to sharpen the pencil, which I think this is really neat, because finding a pencil sharpener that has a hole in it big enough to sharpen your water soluble pastels can be a little difficult. So I do kind of appreciate this edition in all honesty. And of course, you're getting your standard, like seriously, mass produced water brush, which I decided not to even try to use because it's made up of super thin plastic, although it's kind of hard if truth be told. It's somewhere around a number 6 round head on it, if I had to guess. That cap latches pretty well to protect that brush. And the bottom part does have a stopper in it so that you can break it down and carry water without having to put the brush together. So, I mean, straightforward brush. Nothing wrong with it at all, in all honesty. So again, the pastels are covered with the Sunny wrapper. Now, one thing that I noticed off bat, off rip, off top, when I first opened this set, is that you could tell that some of the color had either become wet and re-dried, or maybe the product sweated in transportation. But whatever the case may be, you can actually see the color seeping through the wrapper, which in this case is kind of funny because that wrapper is brown and you can still see there how it stained the wrapper. You can see it even on the UPC code. And I haven't dropped them. I haven't gotten them wet other than just using them for testing. And I've noticed that many of them came that way. So that was something to take note of. I'm not sure if that's how they came from the manufacturer, or if something happened in between transportation from whatever warehouse Temu had them in to them getting to me. But it is something that I wanted to point out. Now, the writing on the wrapper is pretty small, so if you are like me and do not have perfect vision, you're gonna have to get close. You're gonna have to really pay attention to what you're looking at. But it reads water soluble pastel. Yeah, I was joking about being able to read it. Let me see if I can read it on another one. Not for children under, looks like 39 months, it says. Meets performance standards and conforms to EN 71. Water soluble pastel. It looks to be a series number here on the bottom. They do have a color name. In this case, is sapphire blue. So at least you're getting a color name on it, because for a $6 set of pastels, you're definitely not getting any professional artistic information. No light fast, no. I guess with watercolor crayons, what you would be looking for mostly would be light fast information, but there's definitely no pigment information involved with them. And if it's a true watercolor crayon, which is a more opaque medium, they should be more opaque than transparent anyway. So you don't really need a transparency rating. You get a pretty decent, robust number of colors here. There's going to be 12. As we know, it's a water soluble product, so although you don't have a big set, you can mix these colors and match these colors to make different shades and tones. And so we're going to play with them just a little bit, and you'll get to see the quality. I do have just a regular, now this is just a regular drawing paper that I've covered my cutting mat with. As I told you earlier, you can use pretty much any type of paper with watercolor crayons. They do tend to work really well on many different things. Now, I did take time to swatch them out, right? And for the most part, beautiful colors. They're really bright and punchy and robust. Now, this is a 100% cotton watercolor paper that I initially swatched these out on. And I'm not sure if I used too much pressure putting them down, because I'm used to a nail color too. I'm used to the Mungyo water soluble pastels. So even when you put them down in really heavy, hard, thick consistencies, they blend out really well, especially on a 100% cotton paper. Well, that wasn't necessarily the case from the initial swatch with these pastels. So as you can see, even with blending, it still had a lot of the mass tone pigment directly onto the paper, and I was not able to blend it out no matter how much I scrubbed. And this is actually bohung. This is a really, really robust paper. It can take a lot of wear and tear. So yeah, they did not blend out the best from the initial swatch test. Now, I did use them a few times, a few different ways. I used them initially, well, one time in a Patreon. So if you're a part of Patreon, the Creation Station, you should remember us doing this inside the Creation Station, where we just kind of grabbed another piece of the bohong paper. We grabbed a yellow and a brown, a green, a couple of other colors, and we just went for the gusto doing this sunflower, which happens to be one of my favorite flowers. And they performed well. I was shocked. And I felt like I was using just as much pressure, applying just as much pigment here as I was when I initially swatched them out. And it baffled me. For the life of me, I could not understand why they blended out so well in that actual field test, and they didn't when I initially swatched them out. Excuse me. Sorry about that. But I did notice, as I started to pay closer attention, that the yellow was actually one of the colors that blended out better than the rest. So then I started to think to myself, well, maybe it was just luck of the draw on what I was actually painting that day. And they still needed a little more testing. They still needed a little more looking into. So the next thing that I did back during Thrifty Pastel Month. Now this one is definitely not a masterpiece by any means, and it was really me just testing the paint, the pastels. And the truth of the matter is, I ended up going back into this painting with some Derwent Graphitent paints in order to really spruce up, boost up the saturation of the darks in my painting, because one of the major issues I found with this set, although there is a black included, is that it was really hard to achieve your darker saturated neutrals if you did not include black. And let's be clear, everyone does not want to paint with the black color. I've heard many people who prefer not to use it, who prefer to mix their own. So I just thought it was really interesting that it was so hard to achieve. So let's do a little playing. Let's do some mixing of them here. And we're just gonna see how they mix out on, this is just a regular drawing paper, like I said. And I have so much of this stuff. So we're gonna do some mixing. We'll do some color mixing. We're gonna do like a little mini color wheel or something of the nature. We'll grab the truest red in the set, yellow, red, and blue. We'll mix our primaries, right? And we'll mix a little red over here, and you'll see it'll start to make, excuse me, it'll start to make orange on the paper right away. So, you know, no, I didn't experience any issues with them blending and mixing. But most water-soluble products will do pretty okay with that. And then I'll grab the blue of the set, which they call Sapphire Blue. Well, I need another one for the green, don't I? Didn't really, it's not the most symmetrical of color wheels, but we get the point. And I'll mix that blue into the yellow. And then I'll also mix the blue into the red for our violet. And let's play. We'll grab our number. We're grabbing my 1/4-inch dagger here. And with watercolor crayons, just like watercolor pencils, I tell you guys all the time, the main thing to remember is that you want to control the amount of water you use. There's our yellow. And this paper is super thin and cheap. So it's not going to handle water too well, but it will handle enough for you guys to be able to see how these colors mix. Pretty decent orange. And of course, if you were, you know what, let me redirect that one real quick, because that paper is going to tear. That is Art Skill. It's actually a sketching paper that you get from like Family Dollar, if you're familiar with that. And Family Dollar is a not economical store. The art supplies that you get in there are going to be super cheap and economical. So let's do this on what we would use it on, some paper, watercolor paper here. So yellow, 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 and then red, mix the red into the yellow. We'll have some red here. And then we'll have blue. Blue into yellow for the green. Blue into red for the purple violet. Now, if you're not a person who knows anything about color theory and you're new to watercolor painting or any type of art, this is a wonderful way to start teaching yourself about color theory. So here is, and see, they're blending out perfectly fine here. I do not know what was going on with the whole swatching situation, but I have discovered that they will blend out and they do not leave those harsh lines as they did with the swatching. I did not experience it doing any of the actual painting demos that I have done with them. So there we have our yellow and our red. Our yellow and red mixed to make a pretty decent and beautiful orange. Now here we have the red and blue, which we are mixing to get a purple or a violet, depending on how much of what you put in it. That's a little bit more red than I would normally like it to be, but you can see that it definitely went towards the violet tone. We'll mix out our blue, which in all honesty, I don't think this is an ultramarine. It seems a little too light, like it has a little more white mixed into whatever the formulation is than the standard ultramarine you would, expect to get. But nonetheless, it blends out pretty decently and it mixed with the yellow to make a pretty vibrant green, I'm sorry. So I didn't experience any issues with mixing these colors or using the pastels in combination with other art mediums or with other water-soluble pastels. There you can take a closer look at that. They did mix out pretty decently without any issues at all. Now, I wouldn't suspect that a person would be trying to lift these, but I'll tell you what we're going to do. And we're not going to be able to do this right away, but we are definitely going to put down a block of color. And notice how light I'm coloring. I'm coloring because I want to see if it's going to do the whole not blend out thing again. I'm trying to see if it really had anything to do with the pressure. So I am just taking some water and brushing it over this. Look how rich and beautiful the color gets. Absolutely gorgeous for a $6 $6 set of water-soluble pastels. I mean, I'm not mad at them. I'm not mad at Sunny at all. Now, whether they're producing them or whether they're having them white labeled for a $6 product, this is not bad. Now, friends, this is what I call a fun art product. This is something that you get to have fun with, to practice with. Maybe you get them because you're interested in watercolor crayons and you don't want to spend a lot of money on like Neocolor 2s until you're sure that you are going to like water-soluble pastels. Like, that's what I would suggest these for. Sketchbook work. Maybe you're buying something for stocking stuffer or for a Christmas gift for an art student. These will be a wonderful addition, fun art product. But they definitely are not anything that I would suggest for fine art. I would not use them in anything commissioned or anything that I was hanging directly in sunlight. If you're making something like a card or part of a scrapbook compilation that you're going to be giving to someone who's going to have it on display, or that you would want to last so they can pass it down to their kids, or whatever the case may be, where you're trying to do something of super importance, this wouldn't be a product that I suggest. But if it's something that you are just going for the gusto to have fun with, you are just, flat out practicing, learning, seeing how they mix with other things, painting something that you're going to put in your sketchbook. And you guys know, I tell you all the time, your sketchbook is definitely a playground. Your sketchbook is where you get to play and experiment and learn about products without having to commit to showing it to anyone or sharing it with anyone because it's your own private playground. Um, I'm actually going to use blue there to mix into that green. Now, I've told you guys several times when it comes to water-soluble stick pastels, blue is a beautiful, life-saving, changing color because it will help you add shadow to many different things. But again, I just want you guys to kind of see how the colors blend and work together. So I'm drawing somewhat of a leaf here. And then I am going to start with the lightest area first. Actually, I'm going to switch over to that number one's cat tongue brush to blend these out. And I'm just going to tackle the lighter color, and then I'll move into the darker color. I paint light to dark. You don't have to do it that way. I paint light to dark when it comes to these, but maybe you've discovered another way you like to do them, and you should definitely do it. But as you can see, the blue mixed with that exact same green that I used for the rest of the leaf in order to make a beautiful shadow color that you can just blend and move around until you get it the way you want it. Not a super serious leaf, but just something that you can see. And I definitely suggest a nylon hair brush, something golden Teclon, no real hair brush, synthetic squirrels, nothing of that nature I think would be robust enough or hard enough to really push that pigment around the way you would want it pushed around. So this is just something to keep in mind. I am going to take time to check the comment section for a second, see if you guys have any questions or anything about the pastels. Like I said, these are not what I'm going to be using in today's video for creation. I just kind of wanted to run through a really quick sort of review overview of them. And at the end of the day, I don't see anything wrong with them. I think that they are a really nice product to have for practice. I really do. Look at that. Look how beautiful that blends out. And I've reduced them. I'm using this brush because the bristles are closer compact than they were on the 1/4 inch dagger. So it's going to hold less water. And as you can see, it's doing less damage to this sketch paper with blending those out. And I just want you to see that they'll work on a 100% cotton paper or a really super thin, cheap drawing paper, as long as you control the amount of water you're going to use and you take your time with the blending. You can really use these to create on pretty much anything, which I think is so cool. Now, they might not mix or blend as well on like a flat sketch paper like this with no tooth that was really made honestly just for graphite drawing, truth be told. But I think that's a pretty decent blend considering. And like I said, that's a typing paper. I mean, it's not even as thick as a typing paper. It's like super thin. It's got to be like a 30-pound paper, if that. All right, let's see. Any questions about anything? So, any questions about the pastels? If you are catching this video in replay, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments section. I will get to answering them as soon as I possibly can. But once it's all said and done, considering what I have been able to do with the crayons, they are okay. Okay, they are okay. I don't dislike them. They're definitely not a professional quality product, but they're not anything that I would say is a waste of your money per se, you know. I think that they're gonna play well with all of my other water-soluble crayons and pastels. So I'm gonna put them in the drawer with it at this point. And I'll be able to use a 10, like I said, for something else. I am very happy to have the pencil sharpener, without a doubt. Very happy to have it. And there, you can see that tray will come out. And then you have something to store. Oh, you know what? That can become a whole little travel kit. You can get some travel brushes in there. You can get some 4x6 watercolor paper in there. You can get a little mini palette in there. Oh, that can become an entire little travel kit. That's so cool. That may be a video idea on the horizon. We'll see. That's cool. All right. Oh yeah, this came. I'm so sorry, guys. I meant to show you this. This is the pamphlet that came with the water-soluble pastels. It is included. Makes me circle back around to the fact that you can also pick up a 25 color set versus a 12 color set. It does show you here. So they do have 25 colors in that range. I don't feel like you really need any more than 12, if the truth be told. Here's the thing I've discovered about companies that produce different size sets of the same product. Typically, the smallest set is where you find the core colors. Typically, the smallest set is where you find the most useful colors and the most mixable colors. The larger a set gets, the more convenient colors you get in that set. So, I have always found that buying the smaller set, especially if you don't want to buy a complete range, when trying to decide what number, like between 12 or they offer 36, they offer 48, you will normally find the most useful and mixable colors in like the 12 set. You jump up to something that's 36 and you have a lot of convenience colors. Not to say that it's a bad thing, but that's just what I've discovered over the years that I have been doing all of this. And the other side does give you a little dry drawing examples. It does kind of walk you through things, even like using them on black paper. But if you've ever used a water soluble pastel, you know by now what substrates you can use it on. Here you can even see them using it on like an egg. You can see them using it on glass. You can see them using it on a rock. So again, water soluble pastels and crayons will actually paint out on many different things. Finally, we are rolling ourselves around to our advent calendar, which we need to do some work with. Okay, good. We are just over an hour. We're making great time. So if you guys remember, not too long ago, we opened up the Art Advent Journal that we created and put together in 2023 for the Christmas season of 2024. And inside that Art Advent Journal, we had many different products that ranged from watercolor pencils to watercolor paints, gouache, pencil sharpeners, acrylic pens, travel brushes, gel pens, erasers, fountain pens. So 12 days we opened up and we got a range of products, including a little sketchbook that we were able to create with. The very first thing we did was we created this really cute little donut sketch. And today we are going to be working on a Christmas ornament, a little Santa Claus Christmas ornament using our things that we pulled out of the Advent Journal. Now, I did take the Drawing Academy Crimson Red paint and I went ahead and panned it in a half pan so that I can put it in this little thing with the blue and the yellow from the Winsor Newton Cotman that came in the Advent calendar. Now, I don't typically buy Advent calendars, which is why this idea came about. And we will be doing a Advent calendar during this month for the 2025 Christmas season or holiday season. But we're going to change it up just a little bit from the one we did in 2023 to open this year. So let's just jump right into creating. I have some other stuff here, some other little substrates. I cut out some 3-inch circles using my brother's scan and cut. from Artwell 100% cotton paper. And I feel like these are really cute ideas if you want to kind of paint some Christmas ornaments, especially if you're kind of trying to do a project with your kids during the holidays. You can paint on circles, like if you have a scanning cut or a circuit or a die cut that'll cut circles. If you have or if you're good at freehanding and you can cut a circle, just make it whatever size you want, and you're gonna paint on them, and you will back them onto like cardstock or something hard, and then use a hole punch to put a hole in the top, and there you have a little DIY Christmas ornament. Not something we're going to be working on today, but just an idea that I want to throw out that we will be using in the future. So let's just go ahead and jump in. Now, I'm going to spray down my little paints real quick, just in case we need that. And I do have a little plate here to mix on, just in case we need that. And I'm going to try to put it in a spot where the light won't reflect and blind you guys. Let's see. I think that's going to be good. I have to wait on the video to catch up so I can see. I think that's going to be good without any glare. So let's jump in. We're going to be doing Santa Claus. And since we're doing a Santa Claus ornament, what I thought I would do is make the ornament itself sort of red, sort of like his coat. We'll do the buttons black, of course. We'll do the belt black, and we'll give it a gold buckle, which will probably pull out some metallic paint. I think that'll be cool. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start off with actually watercolor pencils. And I'm going to use the watercolor pencil as my base layer because I feel like it will, it's going to just help things dry faster and move quicker. So, what have you guys been working on? What have you been painting, friends? This Christmas season should have everybody in an uproar. This pencil that was included inside the art box is the Faber-Castell Gold Faber pencils. They are a pretty decent student range set of watercolor pencils. Definitely, when I first tested them and reviewed them, they were something that I suggested all the time. And I still say that they are a decent pencil if this is what you have, or if this is what you have available to you. They're more than likely a little bit more affordable in the European market than they are here. But, you know, they're a decent pencil, and if it's something you decide that you want to give a try, say go for it. You won't be disappointed. But there are other pencils out there that are just as, that are more economical actually, that are just as good, if not better. But you can never go wrong with the Faber-Castell name. So the one in the middle is bigger than the one on the top and the bottom. And I'm just going to get this covered with the first layer. And what we'll do is, if the pencil layer is not enough, we'll go in with our paints as backup. Okay. Now, depending on how strong of color you want, you can put down whatever iteration of pigment, use whatever pressure you would like to. Now, you know, when it comes to watercolor pencils, I like to not have to do a lot of work. That's kind of the point. So I will put down, you know, I use pretty decent pressure when I'm doing my pencils, especially on areas that I want saturated. because I don't want to have to go over it 2-3 times, recover it. The only time I'm really light with my pressure is if I'm trying to make a really light tone. Whereas here we are gonna, you know, we want some pretty saturated color in there. So let's get down here and do the bottom. And of course we're using a water soluble pencil. So although I would normally stress directional coloring, especially if we were using a coloring, you know, like a regular color pencil, with watercolor pencils, it doesn't matter as much because you are going to be blending the product out. So I'm going to finish getting this colored in. You know, it is pencil work, so it's a little bit slower than just going with regular watercolors, but I feel like it's one of those instant mediums. You don't have to prep for anything. You just grab the pencils and start coloring. Grab a brush and start blending. It's pretty easy and straightforward, if the truth be told. I'm gonna switch on over to a darker red here. Now you could use, oh, let's see, you could use um, green if you were using paint. You could actually use green with the watercolor pencils too. Um, go very light with it so that and it will actually turn your green darker. Why? Because green is complement to red and they neutralize each other. One of the reasons red and green is such a popular holiday season combination because one color makes the other one pop. And I'm just trying to give a little dimension to the ball here. Putting those darker colors where there will be shadow. Give the ball a little bit more roundness this way. So I'm coming in off the edge. And in this painting, our light is going to be reflecting on the front of the ball. So we are going to have some shadows circling both sides. It's just going to give the ball a little bit more cuteness, a little bit more roundness. Sure to go around any areas that will be covering or covered by something. We're adding the darker red right under the bow because it would be laying directly on top of the ball, casting a shadow. And I'm really not being worried about being too neat. I'm staying inside the lines, but I'm not really worried about how I'm coloring. Again, it's going to be blended out with water. In case you're wondering, the paper that this is being done on is, who is this? Soho Urban Artist. Nope, no, it's not. It is Creative Mark Universal Mixed Media Paper, which you can get from Jerry's Autorama, Creative Mark, along with Soho or house brands at Jerry's. So definitely something to consider. And I'm going to actually put shadow around what's going to be his buttons. And I'll do this one. And I'm only doing one side because we just want it to look like they're kind of lifting off of the ball. And although there's shadow there, I'm still going to do the top one. Okay. And then we are going to do some green here. I'm going to switch over to a green because I think green would be Why am I? As you can see, they will smudge, so I'm keeping a eraser handy. Keeping an eraser handy so that I can use a soft brush to clean off the little crumbs. And we'll go in with the green. Let's see, so I'll be using the, since there's only one green in the color pencil set, I will be using the blue to shadow the green. Or you could use a red. You really could. I'm gonna go blue. I don't know who it was. Someone was telling me that they don't really like red and green. I think it might have been Eleanor. I always think about that whenever I use the colors red and green together. I don't know why that always pops in my head. And we're just gonna cover that. Get that filled all the way in. And then we are going to, so there's a bow here. Keep my fingers covered evidently with that. So I keep smudging it everywhere, but that's okay. I'm gonna keep moving. And what I'm gonna do to make sure that there's separation there from the jump, I'm gonna color the top part of the bow, come on around, and then I'm gonna stop for a second and switch over to my blue. I wanna go ahead and add that right under where that loop sits on the bottom part of the bow for a little shadow contrast. And then the inside of that bow that you would be able to see, I'm gonna go ahead and lay down a small layer of blue. Like so. And I'll go ahead and do it on both sides because I'm gonna need it on both sides. So lay that blue down on the where you would be able to see the inside of that bow. And again, under the section where the bow will be laying on the actual, you know, part of the ribbon that shoots out. Like so. Then I'll go back in with my green and finish covering everything. Put down enough pigment to try to make a difference. If I have to go back and cover it a second time, I will, although I really do try to get it all done in one layer. And we'll do the top of the bow. Let's see. And I'll grab that blue because there's a little indent in, like so. And then there is, that's supposed to be the top part of the ball. I mean, it should be like gray, silver. Maybe we'll do black because I have seen black. and then we'll do the loop itself silver. We'll work on that in a minute. Let's see. Now we're gonna go. I don't want to do the black part just yet. Let's go ahead and grab a brush. I'm gonna use the number 3 cat's tongue I was using earlier. I'm gonna pinch the water out of it, and then I'll start on the bottom in my lightest area first, and I'll blend into the dark. And this brush does an amazing job of pushing the pigment, and the pencils disperse and dissolve pretty easily in water, so it's not hard to get the effect that you're looking for with them. I'm trying to be careful not to smudge any more of this pencil around. And just get all the dark liquefied. And again, this is a mixed media paper, so and it takes water soluble products really well, especially when you're not using like a lot of water, as I suggest you do not do when you're using watercolor pencils. Okay, I feel like I need a little bit more color there, so I'm gonna grab the darker red I was using, and I'm just gonna pick the color directly up from the lid of the pencil and add it to the composition, giving me just a little bit more saturation with that darkness. So this is a great way to use your watercolor pencils. You can use it directly as a palette. Now, I've heard some people say that they don't care for this method, which is fine. I don't have to. But that's kind of one of the things that makes them so versatile, is that you can do this. It makes it super easy to take them for on-the-go painting too. Right. Actually, that was sort of wrong color, Ken, but that's okay. We can go back in and do the right color this time. It was still the red, so it's not a huge deal. There we go. We can see the difference definitely though. Like so. And then I'll go in with the other red now. And we will put some more color in the middle there just to blend it out and make it look nice, like so. All right, let's tackle the top part of the bottle. And we'll start again with the lighter area. Now, as I actually start to blend, I do blend in the direction I want the stroke to go. Unlike with the coloring, which I didn't have to worry about. But with the blending part, I do tend to try to keep directional coloring. It's not always possible. And I'm just tackling the lighter part of the bulb again first. I'll go back and blend out the darker areas in just a moment. And I'm not really worried about it. If anything, it's kind of streaky at the moment. Remember, I did tell you this is a bigger area, so more than likely we were going to have to um, cover it more than once. More than one layer. I didn't want to do it, but it's like we're going to have to, which is okay. And I'm just being sure to push that pigment in as I blend it, because I know I'm about to go back over it with another layer in just a moment. Let it blend down. That way there won't be any harsh lines when I do. And of course this is a mixed media paper, so it's not blending as great as it would on say like a 100% cotton paper, or even like a regular cellulose student grade paper. It's not gonna blend as well as those would, but it's gonna do good. And I'm not really worried if I go into the that area of the bowl of the white, because I'm gonna be covering it in black, so it's not gonna matter. We'll grab our darker red again. We'll pick color directly up from the lid, and we're gonna go in here and map out that darker color, kind of blend it in a little bit, give it a little bit more mass tone. See here. See how quick and easy this is? Anybody can do this. Grab your kids if you want a great fun project, and you can paint something like this on top of the circle cutouts and make your own ornaments. So fun, so fun. And I would have done that today, but I did want to stick to the whole advent calendar. So here we are doing it inside the advent calendar sketchbook. I'm going to switch over to the regular red at this point, and then I'm going to blend it into the darker color and pull inwards. That way we get more coverage, fill in more tooth. Smoothness on the paper. I love watercolor pencils. But of course, if you've been following me for long enough, you know that I don't say it much, but water soluble stick medium is like the bomb.com. They're just so easy to control, and you can use them like a watercolor palette. You can use them like they're intended to be used. You can use them in mixed media. Absolutely wonderful product. But like every other thing you buy, there are different qualities based on which one you buy. I always tell you guys, if you want to, definitely check the Thrifty review playlist before you buy anything. See if I've possibly done a review on it. That way you can have an opinion. Go source out other artists that you trust on YouTube. See if they've reviewed the product. All right. I feel like that should be good. Now we're gonna have to let all of that dry before we can move any further with the actual bug part. I still may enhance the shadow areas just a little bit more. Definitely put a little black around all of that when it's all said and done. Let's move on to knocking out the bow here. I'm using the same number 3 round cat's tongue. I'm pinching the water off as I rinse. And I'm going in to start the bow. Once again, lighter color first. Blending into the darker color, which in this case is that same green mixed with blue. And if you're trying this at home, depending on what watercolor pencils you're using, will depend on the blending effect that you get. They are not all, you know, built the same, and I do like to tell people that our watercolor pencils definitely aren't built the same, just like any other medium. But anything will work for practice. Anything will work for practice. Never forget that. And that green is actually a lot darker when you pull it off of the lid versus scribbling it out. So I may be using another technique in just a minute with this. Because that color definitely turned darker. With that green. I wasn't expecting that. All right. I'm gonna grab one of my scratched up palettes here. And it's gonna be a little difficult because I've already wet that lid and I don't really want to. Once you wet the lid, you do have to give it time to dry before you can use it directly to paper again. So I'm going to mix some of that lid out into a wash. And I will add blue to it to darken it. Yes, friends, I'm doing all this with watercolor pencils. I know, I got paints right there, right? Let's see what happens here. See which one of these colors I like the most. So, we know that yellow, come on yellow. And again, these are Cotman paints. So if you're used to Cotman paints, you already know how these perform. If you're not used to Cotman paints, they are a workhorse of a paint by Winsor & Newton. It is their student grade brand, and they actually do pretty well. I don't have any qualms with Cotman paints personally. So I'm mixing yellow and blue. I'm gonna mix more blue than yellow. Try to get a darker tone green here. And if the green isn't dark enough, you can actually mix a little red into it to darken it so slightly. Show you what I mean. I just want to add in a little bit at a time, and it will darken up that green. Look at that. Right now, let me see if that color is, let's see. Okay, Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Just get that shadow in. And then I'm gonna blend it out. Try to soften those lines like so. There we go. That's good. That works. Go ahead and do the other side right quick. Blending out the, which we know once I use the pencil directly to paper, directly from brush to paper, that green is gonna darken, which I think is so funny, which shows you that the amount of pressure you use when you put down a watercolor pencil definitely depicts the amount of pigment and the saturation that you're gonna get. Go ahead and blend the blue part now. Never be afraid to turn your painting to make it more comfortable for you. And I always try to go in and try to blend any pigment that may not have been blended in the first go. Just make sure I get it all. Let's see, where is the green pencil, friends? Oh, here in my face. Haha. Again, I'm grabbing color from the lid, and I'm just gonna go in and paint, because I know it's gonna darken it up. Okay. And then I'm going to grab a color we mixed here with our Winsor & Newton paints. Mix it up good again in case anything's separated. And then we're gonna go in and add that right up under where the loop of the bow lays on the bottom of the ribbon, like we did earlier. And I'm just gonna blend that until I'm good with it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Hey, Elizabeth. Oh, Eleanor, you had to run. I hope everything's okay, love. I'm sorry, I haven't looked up at the comment section in a minute, friends. I'm really trying to go ahead and get through this with you guys so that we can get it done in one setting. Here I'm blending the top of the bow area. And we are just gonna blend it on around here. And more than likely we will be doing the same thing we did to the bottom part. I do kind of want to give this time to dry just a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and blend out what's here so it can do a little drying, and then we'll come back in and actually crisp and tighten everything up. Definitely going to be putting um, darker saturated color in the inside of that loop. So the greens in this set, turn out to be a little bit weaker than the actual reds. But when I initially did the 2023 Advent Calendar when we were doing the DIY video for it, I was using things that I didn't use on a regular basis. And I've had the Faber-Castell Gold Faber pencils in my possession for years. And I didn't really use them on a regular basis, which is why I chose that set to go inside the Advent calendar. And I'll be honest, I forgot about them until we opened the calendar up. Okay. While this drying, we're going to keep moving and working. And I'm going to grab the black watercolor pencil and we are going to add on his belt. And we're going to add on the buttons on his jacket. Again, you don't really have to be worried about directional coloring here. Go ahead and do a couple of, pull out this button. And I may actually mix a little bit of crimson and black pencil together in order to shadow my buttons a little more. Okay, and then let's tackle the other side of the belt here. See that my drawing wasn't perfectly symmetrical now that I'm actually adding the color. Definitely more foreshortening on one side than on the other. But it happens, friend. It happens. We have to learn not to be really hard on ourselves whenever we make mistakes. Okay. And I was saying that I was going to do this black as well. You don't have to do whatever color you want to do it. If you're even doing this, I just hope that you're creating, regardless of whether you're creating along with me or not. Okay. That's really cute. Add a little bit more pencil here. Make sure we have enough pigment. What color is Santa Claus buckle? Is it gold or is it silver? Why can't I remember? Isn't that terrible? Okay, let's go ahead and blend all of that out. And we'll go ahead and start at the top up here. And I did leave a highlight in that. Now, I know a lot of people that's scared of watercolor pencils. You really shouldn't be. They're super fun. They're super easy to create with. And if you notice, we really haven't waited on anything to dry. We've just been jumping around. Just something that I would like for you to know. I've heard some people say that they're intimidated by them or that they're scared of them, but there really isn't anything to be scared of. Super quick way to paint. The only thing to keep in mind with them, as I remind you on a regular basis, water control is key. Whether it's watercolor crayons or whether it's watercolor pencils, maybe you're using a water-soluble oil pastel. Either way, water control is key. Too much water is the enemy of all water-soluble stick products. All right, get this, blend it down. And who knows, maybe we'll grab a watercolor marker. Ooh, to add our saturation just in case we feel like we need another layer. But I actually think that looks okay if the truth be told. I think that looks okay. I don't think it's gonna require pulling out the big guns or nothing. I think this black is going to be saturated enough. Now we may have to go back in with another layer of it, especially on the belt. And I'm gonna flip that upside down just so I can work better. So, Ruby says, watercolor pencils be beating me up. Maybe it's the brand I use, but I always end up washing all my color away. It could be the brand, but it could also be the brush and the amount of water you're using. Keep in mind that you need a golden Teflon brush that's what I suggest for best results. That's going to help prevent you from washing away the pigment. And B, water. Water control, water control, water control, water control. I cannot stress it enough, water control. Let me show you what I do. I'm going to do it on top of this white paper so you can actually see it. So I dip my brush in water. I literally take my finger and pinch that water out of my brush. See, it was on my finger. I just want a damp brush. I don't want a wet brush. Then I go in with that damp brush and blend. And as you can see there, I'm not washing away any of my pigment. And it's actually blending out pretty well. So water control, water control, water control is the major key to pencils, crayons, and pastels that are water soluble. So I feel like hopefully that'll help you a little bit if you try watercolor pencils again, Ruby. I am so hungry. All right. I feel like I need another layer of black on that. It just doesn't seem saturated enough for Santa's belt. Now, you can, once you put down this layer, let it dry, you can go back in on top of this with a lot of different things. Um, I really want to um, get back up there to to that. But I'm gonna go ahead and knock this belt out real quick first since we're down here. And I'm just doing the same thing I was doing with the other colors. I'm picking the color directly up from the lid, which is gonna put it in mass tone. And I'm gonna use that to paint with. And as you can see, it just gives me a smoother, more saturated layer. There we go. Do the other side real quick. And this is probably the best I'm going to get it on this paper. All these different things play a part. And go in and get this side. Got some YouTube videos I want to catch up on today. I'm finishing up this upcoming Wednesday's pre-recorded video, which is going to be an in-depth closer look at the Soho Urban Artist Watercolor Stretched, or should I say Soho Urban Artist Stretched watercolor paper. The canvas boards, or not canvas boards, but they're actually stretched paper that looks like a canvas. If you guys remember we knocked this one out doing one of our videos. So we're going to be reviewing this. It's not a canvas. It is hot press stretched watercolor paper secured across a frame to resemble a canvas, but it's actually hot pressed watercolor paper. And it performs exactly like a hot press paper. I'm gonna be honest. I actually kind of messed the first one up that I was doing because I forgot, being a person that uses cold press paper on a regular basis, I forgot how much water control you have to exercise with a hot press paper. So this was the first attempt that I was making. Now I may still go and finish this one up, don't get me wrong, but I do not like the way that the paint kind of puddled on the side and kind of gave these weird, and at first I kind of thought it was something with the sizing of the paper, and then I realized, well, no, it's not the sizing of the paper, it's hot press paper. And you keep trying to treat it like it's a cold press paper, and you can't do that. You have to treat it like what it is. So I'm still gonna go in and finish all of this up, put the branches on the tree, put the leaves in the sky, and rocks on the ground and all that type of stuff before I get around to the review. But I did learn a lot from this first board, which is why the second board came out so much better. And in the review, we're going to be painting a third board. I haven't decided exactly what it's going to be yet, but that will be the well, actually, I have decided what it's going to be. Yeah, we're in the Christmas season. You guys know I've been keeping things Christmassy, so more than likely it's going to be a painting of something I haven't done yet. And I was kind of thinking about a Christmas gnome. I think that would be so cute. Um, so yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. I think I'm gonna go back in and add some more shadow, just kind of around the outside of the bowl, because it's sort of giving me one color now that it's all drying, and that's not the effect that I was going for. So let me go ahead and knock out some more of this bow real quick. But at this point, you can call it done if you wanted to. You don't have to continue to go back and forth doing as much as I'm doing. But I have a vision in my mind's eye of what I want it to look like, and you guys know how that is. Once we get that vision in our head of what we want it to look like, it's hard to accept it not coming out that way. So I'm gonna keep playing around with it till I get it somewhere remotely to where I want it. Mm-hmm. I also think it may be better if I go in with a black fine liner. I haven't decided just yet if that's what I'm gonna do, but it may be best if I do that. When in doubt, fine line your way out. One of my favorite sayings. And you can bet your paintbrushes and sponges that it works too. All right, I'm gonna grab, let's do this other side. And as you can see, Ruby, when I'm doing it this way, when I'm putting the color directly from the lid, notice I'm not getting any washing away of the pigment, because the pigment is coming directly off the brush versus you adding water to it. The water is already mixed into the pigment, almost like making a wash on your brush. So these are some things I want you to give a try. See if they improve or make your watercolor pencil experience a little better, because they are a wonderful medium. And I think once given a chance, everybody should love them. But you know, I think y'all should love everything I love. It's me. That's hilarious. Okay. Where is my blue? Let's jump over here and let's get the green we mixed earlier. I'm gonna add water to it again. Get it reconstituted. I may need to mix some more of that green, honestly. I'm gonna see if I can get through this without having to remix. I'm gonna just add it to the inside where it would be darker like so. We'll do the same thing on this side. So as you can see, they also are very mixed media friendly. I'm mixing watercolor paints and watercolor pencils here. And all of these products is truly giving me it's giving me inspiration and ideal for an advent journal that I actually want to have produced, like really produced. All right, and for the top there, I'm gonna go ahead and grab a little bit more of that green we mixed, and we're gonna do some, add a few details into if we can get up enough color, I may need to, I think I'm gonna go ahead and mix a little bit more here. Put down a little water. I'll start off with my yellow because I don't want to contaminate it. I will rinse between picking it up every single time. Okay. We got yellow. We're going to add some blue to that to make a green. Start off with quite a bit of blue. I'm going to try not to go grab any more water. Mix that well. And then immediately add a little red to it. And I'm going to add red to it really slowly, because I don't want it to be like, green, you know? Add red to it until I have enough. And see, that went a little bit too olive green for me. So I'm gonna rinse. And I'll go back into my blue and slowly start adding my blue back in until I get that color knocked back over to the dark green that I want. Didn't know you was gonna get color theory today too, did you? Oh, look at that one. That one's nice. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Come on, just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Okay. I think we're doing good with that one. And I'll get a little more brush here, and let's see where we can go in and do some shadow detailing other areas of this. Just a few more shadows into that. Maybe around the curves of it. I don't want to outline it. I'm just adding some dimension, some shape to it. Adding some shape. And if I accidentally paint an area, I'll go ahead and repaint that whole area, because I want the water level to dry the same. I don't want any like harsh lines, back running, anything like that. Let's go in one last time and cover this inner area just to make sure it stands out as being the inside, and that is darker than the rest for dimension purposes. Okay, love that. Love that. So don't be scared. Jump in there. Use your products. Mix them up. Do different things with them. You never know until you try. Experiment. That's what your sketchbooks are for. They're for you to experiment. All right. And let's see here. I want to put some more shadow around the bulb. See, I told you I was going to go crazy and just keep going until it looked the way I wanted it to look, or resemble what I wanted to resemble. So I'm grabbing some of the red here. This is Durant Academy Crimson Red. And what I need to do is get that red darker. Now I'm gonna watch how this works. Watch how this works. Now we made that dark green from mixing blue and yellow and adding a bit of red to it to get the dark green that we wanted. So now what I'm gonna do is do it in reverse. I'm gonna add red, and then I'm gonna jump over here and slowly start mixing in this green until we get a saturated red that we want. Where's that color I'm looking for? Let's see. Oh, that's beautiful. It's like a wine. Let's go a little bit darker. I don't want it to neutralize. I just want to darken it. Look, see that? Look how beautiful that came. So, let's go in and add that shadow color just around the edges of stuff here. Okay. And we're not worried about anything right now. We're just going to get that painted. And then we're going to go in with a damp brush and we're going to blend. You buy the advent calendar, Ruby? Thank you, love. I appreciate that. I have to find a factory to work with first. I've been watching some advent calendar things going on here this Christmas season though, and it kind of puts fear in me because, baby, it has been some really harsh reviews of advent calendars out there this Christmas season. One of them specifically being Emma's. Poor Emma. Poor Emma. Oh, poor Emma, baby. They just have been letting her have it. Now, suffice it to say, Emma's advent calendar was released through Craft Ammo. In case you guys don't know who I'm talking about or what I'm talking about, I'm talking about Emma LaFave, one of my favorite YouTube artists, actually. I think she has a cool personality. We don't have the same style of painting, but I do learn stuff from her. I really do. Um, I feel like as artists, we should always be learning. There should never be a moment where we stop growing. If you ever reach the pinnacle of growing, then your art won't improve. And that's just fact. So every single day, you should be learning something new, growing in some way to improve your art, enhance your art. Which is why I watch people like Emma LaFave, people like Lindsay the Frugal Crafter, Chris Petrie, Becca Hilborn, Christy Rice. All of these are fellow artists, fellow YouTube artists of mine who all paint in almost completely different styles than I do. The only person, or the only two people that I may have a resemblance in style to, depending on what's being painted, would be Lindsay or Christy, because I've noticed, and of course I learned a lot from Lindsay, so that would make sense, right? Um, but back to what I was saying, Emma LaFave, in collaboration with Craft Ammo, released a art advent calendar, and I'm not sure if people know how collaborations with companies work. When an influencer like myself or or Lindsay or Emma works with a company, just because we're doing a collaboration with them and we get to pick certain things, we don't get to pick everything. And the price is one of them. The price is set by the company. So the price for Emma's advent calendar was set at a whopping $250, if I'm not mistaken. Again, by Craft Ammo, and many people, many of her fans purchased that advent calendar. And there have been so many things going on that has prevented that advent calendar from getting to the people who purchased it. All up to the point where there are people who still don't have their advent calendar right here, right now. Um, and it is the 9th day of December. And of course, anybody with any sense, including Emma, can understand their frustration with that. However, Emma doesn't ship the product, you know. And I've seen some people in her comment section saying, because she's been going live pretty much every day since the Advent calendar launched in order to do a painting with people, and basically what I just did, a plug to kind of advertise it. Um, and people have been in our comment section saying some of the craziest things. Oh, I never order, never support again, and it's just like terrible. I feel so bad for her because Emma has absolutely nothing to do with Craft Ammo shipping those packages. There are people that are in the comment section saying, "Oh, I've been watching the tracking. The tracking on my package has been sitting in the warehouse since the end of October. It hasn't moved yet." And I'm just thinking to myself as I'm reading the comments, like, okay, so as you was typing this, as you were typing, my package is sitting in a warehouse and it has not moved. Did it not hit you that Emma has nothing to do with that? As a matter of fact, actually, Craft Ammo really has nothing to do with that. And I go through this all the time. As you guys know, I work, I also still have another full time job. And I work for a telecommunication company, and I'm in telecommunication sales. And there are so many times when you have to re explain to the customer over and over, yes, we order it for you. Yes, our warehouse ships it out. But once it's in the hand of FedEx, UPS, DHL, USPS, or whatever company is delivering the package, the company that shipped it, nor the creator has no control over when you actually get that package on your door. It is literally controlled by the company that is shipping it to you. So I feel like a lot of the anger inside her comment section is so misplaced. She didn't set the price. She doesn't ship the product. Now, do I understand people being upset? Absolutely. Do I understand you being upset? Absolutely. $250 is not cheap. $250 is not a little bit of money. You know, with the way things are now, $250 to spend on an art product is definitely a luxury. Okay, so then the comments is definitely what I was. Let me finish that statement. It's definitely a luxury, and not everybody has that type of money. And even if they do have it, not everybody's going to spend that type of money on an art product. However, so I mean, I get it. I get being upset, but what I don't get being upset, or who I don't get you being upset at, is Emma. I don't. I don't get that. I don't understand that. Even if I wasn't a person who produced my own products and knew how all of this works, everybody in this country or any other country that has ever ordered a product through the mail, you know yourselves, these companies do not have delivery trucks that pull up. It is coming through USPS, it is coming through FedEx, it's coming through UPS. So if you're looking at a tracking number saying that your package is sitting, I don't know, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and you live in Timbuktu, you can't be mad at the person that produced the product. You need to be mad at whoever is shipping that product between Kalamazoo and Timbuktu. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. And then too, I also have to throw out there that it's the Christmas season, so shipping is gonna be really slow. And if you're in Canada, you're really in trouble because they're on a strike as far as the postal service is concerned. And I do believe that a lot of people that I saw in that comment section complaining were actually Canadian residents because Emma is Canadian based, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. That type of stuff makes people like me really scared to try to produce anything because it's like, although you may understand that it's not that person's fault, you still take out your misplaced anger on them, which I think is kind of crazy. All right, that's not bad looking. That's not bad looking at all. We just need to finish up the buckle. What color was the buckle supposed to be? I don't know. We're gonna go with gray. um, because I don't have the colors. Well, I do have the color. Well, I guess I could mix a gold. I have a yellow. I have a brown. I have an orange. I mean, we could play around with it till we got it to goldish looking, couldn't we? Let's see how well this gonna work out for us. We'll start with a base of yellow. Make sure I put down. I mean, I guess you could just leave it yellow, huh? I guess you could. I'll add a little bit of burnt sienna into it, which is going to take it a little bit more yellow ochreish. And what we'll do is we'll blend a little bit at a time and add a little bit at a time. I'm just trying to get it a little golden looking. I think that's going to work out fine though. And the opposite of yellow would be violet, but I don't have a violet pencil. I guess I could mix a violet. Let's blend this out first and see what happens. I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow ochre, burnt sienna into that, just to see if I can take it a little bit more golden. Give me just a second, friends. I'm gonna check the comments section. Let me blend out this first layer and see how this looks. And then, I don't know, it kind of looks a little gold on the screen though, so I think we may have did okay. Let's blend it out and see what happens. It's not bad. It's giving me a gold feel. I'll have to add another layer or two to it. But I feel that works. All right, let me check the comment section and then we'll wrap this on up. Hope it hadn't been too boring. I know it wasn't the most exciting live today, but yeah, that's gonna be sort of goldish. Okay, let's see here. Let me see, where are we? Did that come out okay? That came out okay. Let me put another little layer on it real quick. I'm gonna throw more yellow on top. Okay. I'm gonna actually get heavier with the yellow because it's got that brown undertone now, so I feel like this is gonna work. And then I'm gonna grab that brown and go in around the edges really lightly, just to give some dimension across the bottom, up the other end, across the top. Okay, I'm gonna throw some more yellow on top of that. We're wrapping things up here. We're gonna go and throw some highlights on, and we're gonna call this a day. Let me see, this was supposed to be goldish looking as well, so I'm gonna see if I can get this in that realm real quick. The little hoop that we were hanging it with was gonna be gold. Throw in some burnt sienna in that. But yeah, I really wish, all the luck in the world with that situation. I hope that the people start getting their calendars so they can stop being so hard on her. I really wish Craft Ammo would step up their sales I almost said something else. I've been watching too much RuPaul Drag Race. I almost said something else. But no, they need to step up their game, you know, start contacting people, you know, kind of taking some of that pressure off of Emma, letting reassuring people that yes, your package has been shipped, it's shipped out. This then um, we are, you know, try to maybe reach out to the carriers that are carrying the packages to see if maybe they can get an update because maybe they would have more pull as the company that, you know, that is shipping things versus the customer, because there are some customers who are saying that, you know, they reached out to Craft Ammo and they haven't got a response, or they keep getting like a generic type of response about it. So all those situations, you know, they add up, and I can understand why they would have someone upset. I'm not saying I don't get that. I'm just saying, please, please, please stop blaming Emma because it's not her fault. It's not. There's nothing she can do about the shipping, no matter how bad she may want to. All right, we're gonna say that this gold looks gold enough. We'll call it tinted yellow. There we go. I think it's cute. Let's put another little coat up here. Even if it's noticeably yellow versus gold, I think your eye will automatically read the color that it should be based on knowing what it is. It's almost like when you paint lines for a tree and trees in distance. You know, you just put lines back there, but the person looking at the picture mind automatically reads that those are trees. So we're gonna assume that the same thing will happen here with that being gold. Not too bad. Pretty straightforward. Something really cute you could do with your kids. You can do with friends. If you're throwing a paint party, these are wonderful. Like if you're having a holiday paint party, Christmas Day, whatever, you know, anything like that. These are great little ideas to do. Grab some watercolor pencils, sit them in the middle of the table. Grab maybe Prang or Crayola watercolor sets. Sit those in the middle of the table. Cut you out a couple of circles from like watercolor paper, whether it be 100% or whether it be student grade paper, whatever. That way people can make their own cute little ornaments. I think this would be an amazing holiday party idea, especially for a crafty party. Um, yeah, so I definitely suggest you guys give this a try. Go back and check out this past Wednesday's video. If you can't draw, I'm giving you permission to go ahead and trace you above. It is absolutely okay. Like I said, go back definitely and check out that this past Wednesday's video on alleviating creative artist stress. I think it'll be beneficial, especially if you're are a beginner. And look at that bug. Would that not be cute on like that? That would be gorgeous on that. I think so. Right? I don't know. Maybe I'll do that on there. I don't know. Um, Let me check the comment section right quick. I'm not going quite yet because I have some goodies I'm gonna give away. Um, yes, Craft Ammo should definitely stand up and defend her. I think. Yeah, I understand. Yes, yes, Elizabeth. I think we're all most. If people want to get a bang for their buck, they should just go to an art store and pick out the supplies they want. Advent calendars are about having fun. I completely agree. I think, you know, pretty much all sensible artists, sensible people, people who are rational and actually use rational logic thinking find this to be a difficult situation because they have every right to be upset about spending that type of money and not having the calendar yet. It is ludicrous that they're taking it out on Emma though. Crazy. Even if Craft Ammo stepped up their game, stood in, put an umbrella over her, she has nothing to do with the production of the product. Then you know she had nothing to do with the shipping. It's still only so much Craft Ammo could do. Because once they ship it out of their warehouses, whoever is bringing it to you, whatever delivery service is bringing it to you, these are the people with their hands on the package last. You know, it's that's just how the game goes. So like Elizabeth said, unless you get up and go to a store and purchase it for yourself, you are always running the risk of delayed shipping, even when it's not a major holiday season, even when there's not a strike going on, but especially when it's a major holiday season and a strike going on. You know, logically, you should be able to wrap your head around that. Last question. Anyone try Honamule? Yes, have, love it. Go check out the video, a couple of videos back. Not this video, but the video before that. Whatever video I released about um artist gift guide for 2024 holiday season, one of the things in that artist gift guide video is this Honamule sugarcane watercolor paper. Probably one of the best things I've ever tried in my entire life. This paper is so good, I use one sheet and I refuse to use any more until I know exactly what I'm going to use it for, or until I make a sketchbook out of it, which is probably going to be what happened. But it's going to be a kettle stitch sketchbook. That way I don't have to cut down any of the papers. I don't want to lose any of this paper. This is just one a test pattern that I kind of played around with on the paper. Nothing too serious. Just wanted to, you know, see what I could have going on. Absolutely wonderful. Love this paper. I also love there's another paper that I tried in a sketchbook that was made for me by one of you guys and sent in. And then here recently I got the Honamule, however you want to say it. This is their bamboo mixed media paper. I love the sugarcane paper so much. I cannot wait to pop this open. You know, I have things in order of the way they come into the studio as to how I open them and test them and review them. So we have finally gotten through one box of products. We are moving into the next box of products, and this is in that next box. So these will be coming up. This will be coming up pretty soon for us to kind of play around with and try. And I cannot wait. I'm super, super excited. But yes, I love the sugarcane paper, and I have loved pretty much every paper I've tried by them so far. The bug would make a good repeated pattern wrapping paper. Oh yeah, it would, huh? There's an idea. Maybe I can. It really would, Ruby. That's a really neat idea. It would make a great pattern. It sure would. So those are the two images that we have painted so far with the things that we opened from our DIY advent calendar. There was a donut we did the first painting. There's a Christmas bulb that we did for this painting. And we will be tackling more. We will tackle another painting during our next live, which will be next Monday, as long as everything stays the same at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. That sugarcane paper painting would make great wallpaper. Really? I hadn't even looked at it like that. What did I do with it? There's an idea. I was thinking maybe it's going to end up making, it's going to end up being the design on like a watercolor palette or maybe a sketchbook or some product that I release, I feel like it may end up being a design on one of those. Which, by the way, the Patreon link for tonight's Patreon live at 8 p.m. in the Creation Station will be going up shortly. So it will be at the top of your Patreon feed in the Defiant Art Thrifty Apprentice Patreon community. If you are not a member, please do consider joining us over in the Creation Station. You can find a link for the Patreon in any video that has gone up on the channel in the last 6 to 7 months. Um, and it will be listed in the video description of this live for the replay. But until then, you can always go back and check out another video, check out the video description, hit the link for the Patreon. It is full of goodies. There's only one level. Well, there's two levels. There's the free level, which I'll be honest, the free membership really doesn't. You get to see all of the major updates, but that's pretty much all you get with the free membership. There was a video that I did last week, if I'm not mistaken, that was open to all of Patreon. So regardless of whether you're a free member or a Creation Station member, you can go back and check out that Christmas card video that was done. So that will be open. But for the most part, you need to be at least a Creation Station member. In order to see things. You have access to free traceables for most of the things we do, both in Patreon and on YouTube. You get behind the scenes information and behind the scenes and first eye glimpse look at things before they're shown on YouTube. You get one full-time, real-time, in-depth tutorial per month. And you also get one live per week, all for the totally unaffordable, inexpensive price of $2 a month. $2. That's right. You get all of that for $2 a month. So I did try to keep it really reasonable, really economical, really price friendly, but to make sure that you get well more in a month's time than $2 worth of art creation. I mean, $2, the real time tutorial per month is worth more than that. But you're getting that. You're getting a live every week, so there's 4 lives a week, 4 lives a month, plus surprise lives that I throw in there. You have access to the Thrifty Reel, which is a behind the scene look series that goes on, and just, yeah, so come on, join us. It's a lot of fun, and you get those traceables, which for those people who can't draw or simply don't want to draw, take advantage of it. All right, friends, $2 really do, you deserve so much more. Thank you, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, I look at the price of other people's Patreons. I look at what they're charging, and I look at what comes in that package. I mean, I've seen Patreon prices run $15, $12, $13, and you're not getting nearly as much in those Patreons as you will get if you should happen to join the Creation Station, because again, for $2 a month, you're going to get quite a bit. And I am looking at adding a new tier to Patreon in January. It will be a step up from the Creation Station, so it will be a little bit more money, not much more at all. And because it's going to cost just a little bit more, it's going to include even more than the Creation Station. So basically, you'll have everything, you'll have access to everything the Creation Station has access to, plus whatever is added in order to make that tier worth the extra money that may be asked for. So trust me, I'm going to always go out of my way to make sure that whatever I am asking you guys to support me in is worth well more than you could imagine. Always, always, always. All right. So if that is it, my friends, thank you so much for joining me. I have really gone well over the time I planned. on spending on live today, which is perfectly fine because I always enjoy hanging out with you guys. Now, if you're here, if you've been here, you've enjoyed anything, please do sprinkle a little love. Give the video a thumbs up. It's going to really help the channel. We're up to over 2,300 subscribers at this point. Guys, can you believe how fast the channel has started to take off and grow in like the last 7 months? And that's because of you. That's because of you wonderful supportive people who are liking the videos, who are actually commenting on the videos and conversing back. The people who are sharing, I need you to know that you are nice. You are nice because you are definitely helping the algorithm recognize that other people are not only sharing but are interested. So all those things, from the likes to the shares to the comments, really help a channel build and grow and get more exposure. So for those people that are doing it every time I ask, for those people who are doing it simply because they want to, not because I ask, thank you. You are the backbone of what's making this channel grow, and I appreciate you more than I could ever put into words. If you're new to the channel or you're returning and you haven't subscribed, now's the time. Hit the subscription button, hit that notification bell so you know when we upload, when we go live, so you don't miss things like this. And even if today's video was a little boring to you, don't worry. Things are normally much more exciting, all off the walls, bouncing crazy, artistic stuff splashing around everywhere. So yeah, you can always look forward to that. You get 2 pre-recorded videos that come out. One comes out every Wednesday, one comes out every Sunday. Please keep in mind that this upcoming Wednesday's video is already in progress of being put together, so you can definitely expect that. And I'll start working on this upcoming Sunday's video soon. Check the video description for any video, including this one, once the replay goes up, which is probably about 24 hours from now. You can check that video description. You're going to get links for the Defiant Art website, which is where you can find Defiant Art products and prints. You're going to get the link for Patreon, which is where you can find the Creation Station. And you're going to get the link for Palm Street, which is where you can find original artwork by me. So if you are interested in owning any Thrifty Apprentice Defiant Art original artwork, where you can find it, or where you will find most of it that I have available, is on Palm Street. The Palm Street app, my shop inside Palm Street, has some of the things listed on the website, but things that are not listed on the website, because this is the only place that I actually list original paintings. So on this, you can find everything from hand painted portraits if you wanted to order one for plants. The Bamboo Voyager Palette is there. The art box is there. And then there are several different original paintings that I have done that you can go over there and take a look at and purchase if you're interested in. You just download the Palm Street app, sign up. You only have to put information in the wallet if you plan on buying something, but outside of it, you can take advantage of watching thousands of available lives from creators and crafters and plant lovers that do all these different things. So definitely go check it out if you get a chance. All right, friends. If there is nothing else, do remember that the video descriptions also have the most recommended product list in it. Okay, it has the artist's wish list in it in case you decide you ever want to support the studio in any type of way. Am I missing anything? I don't think I'm missing anything. I think I covered it all at this point. So thank you guys for joining me. Go out, have great fun. I will see you tonight in Patreon if you're a Creation Station member. But if not, this upcoming Wednesday for our regular Wednesday release, which is at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day and just keep creating.